pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have a motion to approve the agenda.
I so move.
Second.
Comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oh, still raising my hand.
I do too.
Any public comment? It'll be you, Kim. All right, if there's no public comment, we have approval of the minutes of the Board of Education District meeting on May 3rd, 2021. Anybody want to make a motion?
Second.
Any comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Abstain?
I will abstain.
I as well.
And the Board of Education regular meeting of May 12th, 2021, motion to approve.
So move.
Second. Lucy? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
I'll abstain.
I will as well.
The next board meeting is June 9th, 2021, here. And that'll be the last one of this school year, unless we have some emergency after that. The first item on the agenda is a resolution to approve the proposed amendment to the plan of regionalization for District 13 and to approve the question for the referendum. That was sent out to you. I don't know if you haven't seen it, I have another copy. And we had it at the last meeting, except that our attorney modified it somewhat. And has everybody seen it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Bob, I'd like a copy. I haven't tried getting my mail. Thank you.
He shortened it up from what we had, and I think he just tried to make it so it just has the facts in it. And the bottom line is it has the question of, it also includes the question which has to go to the Commissioner of Education. And the final line is the Board of Education of Regional School 13, notwithstanding the recommendations of the Temporary Regional School Study Committee in 1967 for the towns of Durham, Middlefield is authorized to close John Lyman Elementary School and maintain the following school configuration: Frederick Brewster Memorial Middle School, Frank Ward Strong Middle School, and Coggins Regional High School. And the question at the referendum would be, shall the Regional School District 13 plan of regionalization be amended to authorize the Region 13 Board of Education to close John Lyman School in the town of Middlefield? This report has to go to the State Commissioner of Education. We have to enclose that, they have to approve that, and then we can begin to have public hearings after that. So this is basically the first step in this process. It doesn't commit anything until the Commissioner of Education approves it, and then we can begin the process of hearings and other things like that. So if there's any questions or no questions, have a motion to approve the resolution. Anybody?
Move to approve.
Second?
Second.
Andrew? Any comments, questions?
Yeah, one question, minor. Is the name of the school Memorial Middle School, or is it actually Middlefield Memorials Middle School? What is the official name of the building, the school? Because I think it is Middlefield in the name.
When you put it in your GPS, you have to do Middlefield Memorial, otherwise it takes you somewhere else. To like
Yeah.
Middle area or something.
That, and it's just, so I just, you know.
I'll check with the.
I think you're right, Bob, and I think that was a topic of some conversation probably 20 years ago. And they straightened it out on some plaques and things. I believe you're correct.
I think it says that on the building, but I'm not sure that's.
It's like, I'm 90% sure it's on the building that way, but I'm not sure what the official.
It says it
name
on
is.
our website too. When you pull down
The
school.
letterhead, I
It
thought,
says
just says
Middlefield.
Memorial Middle School. I mean, that's what I always remember.
I will
The
check
building
with the
was.
official name and we will
Yeah.
correct that if.
So, yeah, so I would just amend the motion to assure the Memorial Middle School name is correct
Yeah.
on the document. Otherwise, as long as those that moved and seconded agree with that.
All right, with that amendment, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item 7 is the resolution. This is the next step, is to set the date for the district meeting or public hearing. They're one and the same. To present the proposed amendment to the plan for the community. Now, I'm not sure we're ready to set that date for the public hearing. Following the public hearing, we may amend the resolution and the plan, and then we have to set the date for the referendum. So, over the next 3 steps, we have, the next step is to set, once this gets approved, is to set the date for the public hearing. After the public hearing, then the board has to set the date, has to vote on after the public hearing, like we would have after any public hearing. And then we have to set the date for the referendum. So those are the steps. With the work that we're having done by Baldwin Media, we're probably not ready to say that we have everything in order to go to public hearing at this time. So unless somebody has a specific date in mind for a hearing, I would say we should probably table this resolution until we have a date. We're a little more certain about where we are on the media and where we are on our public relations aspects. Anybody?
How much notice do we have to give for a district meeting public hearing? Is it the same as a regular meeting, or is
Well,
it more notice?
Public hearing district meetings are like 5 or 10 days. It's not a huge amount of
Oh, okay.
time,
Okay.
but the referendum is.
That I knew.
That's
I just
fine.
wanna make sure for a special district meeting public hearing that we didn't have to give like
Like
30
the-
or 60 days notice.
The district meeting on the budget is 5 days.
Okay.
I think, Kim,
That's fine then.
something like that. Meg would know, but I think it's.
It's 5 days.
It's 5 days. So, I mean, it's not a huge amount of time. We would probably want to give at least 30 days, so we have time, but anyway, we don't, I'm not confident that we should set the date at this time.
No.
Any other? Or will we table this or just?
Just move along. It's, there's nothing on the table, so.
Right, yeah. All right, thank you. The next is committee reports. And by the way, I'll send a copy of those documents to each one of you when they get sent to the State Commissioner of Education. The next is committee reports, student achievement. Lucy?
We had 3 topics. Let me know if you can't hear me, because these things are very garbled. And then my glasses fog up. There are, the first discussion was on the summer program, update on that. There are approximately 65 students, I believe, who have signed up for various programs at the time. And they were hoping for about 90, so additional notices are going to be sent out so that.
We're up to 74.
Pardon?
We're up to 74.
We're up to 74. Okay, that's great. Yep. And I believe there are approximately 30 students who are receiving transportation with the grant money. Also, Corey reviewed each of the programs, the number of students that are registered, and the staff members who are running each program. Just as a summary of the offerings, they have a kindergarten academy for incoming kindergarten students. There are 5 different camps. There's a math camp, a mixed media, STEAM, Explore, and ceramics. If I get anything wrong, just let me know. There's personal projects for the high school. One is an independent art project, the other is Chinese language. There are also tutoring sessions. And just a reminder that typically summer tutoring programs are organized by grade level, but this summer students are organized by need. The second topic we discussed was grant opportunity. There was a grant that was available for an integrated arts music program. Unfortunately, RSD13 was not accepted at this time, but we can also reapply. There were also, Corey presented some drafts of professional learning plans. There will be professional learning on the following days. Sorry, allergies. August 31st, at the very beginning of the school year during the teacher days. I think on September 27th, the Friday after the fair, which is a full day. On 11/2, which is election day. January 27th is an early dismissal. 2/18 is an early dismissal. 3/11 is a full day, and May 17th, I believe, is an early dismissal. At least those were the dates that I had. Some of the proposed professional development offerings at the elementary school, some of these are also going to be happening over the summer, and I'm not sure if I pulled that out, but it's the summer and then continuing into the fall and throughout the year, as well as new ones coming up in the fall. They're going to be examining data and goal setting, and looking at literacy for 2021 and 2022 and what it will look like. K-12 in the arts department, K-12 arts. There's also meetings to explore DIBELS training in depth, which is an assessment. I believe that's a reading assessment. It's a reading assessment. It's usually a 6-hour program, and I believe that's happening in the summer. The science of reading and structural reading with an outside consultant to address areas that are missing in the curriculum. Teachers from East Hampton will be able to join our school district over the summer.
Lucy, can I just interrupt for 1 second? Actually, Kristen Allen is one of our teachers who is going to be providing the bulk of the science of reading professional learning this summer. So it's Kristen Allen. She's a special education teacher, and she's Martin Gillingham trained, so she will be providing that PD for our teachers.
There'll be some implementing differentiation with the coaches. Later, other teachers will be involved in September and October with coaches and PLCs, and in November they're going to continue with the coaches. So this is one of those that's ongoing. The main focus this year is on reading skills, but there's also math included. At the middle school, there'll be data talks, smarter balance, individualized student reports, and restorative practices are going to continue, as well as I believe there's a math consultant for the high school and the middle school. There's equity issue training in the middle school. There's a focus group with students. CERC is going to work with students, and social studies and ELA will use we'll look at equity as well. At the high school, there's a needs curriculum writing to prep for NESEC, and equity for social studies and language arts departments. We as a group also discussed updating the community about summative learning, keeping the community updated. And I believe I covered most of it.
Thanks, Lucy. Any questions, comments? Corey, anything else? No.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next is utilization. Bob, Andrew.
Yeah, do you want to put it up? I think it might work better if it's put up. Yeah, so we held the utilization committee meeting last night and discussed what the plan would be going forward in lieu of the hardening of the entranceways to the schools, which turned out to be 2 or 3 times more expensive than we originally anticipated when we allocated about $200,000 to do that. So there was a very good presentation of the summary of, which is going to be brought up, of all of the different security items. It was prepared by Kim Newbig, Dr. Shook. We had our SRO officer help, as well as Jimmy and Susan, Jimmy Curto, and so we got it all put together. They made a presentation, and the committee is recommending that the board fund the security items that are in the summary, which you'll see shortly and we can discuss. We voted to fund that with the money that's currently available, while concurrently applying for a grant that would cover 40% and reimburse us. So we can spend the money now and still get reimbursement later if we're approved. Doubtful we will be approved because they really want to target some of the underserved markets as is typical. In addition, okay, so here are so the top projects are the total security items, and those will go into the security grant. We can discuss them individually. And then there's also an opportunity this year to apply for a communications grant. And the communication systems in the schools need to be updated. As of last night, we believe that's 100% reimbursement. Kim, is that 100% reimbursement? So that's 100% reimbursement grant. So we would also like the board to authorize the grant application of the $275,000 for phone system upgrades in schools. In addition, we will also add, because it's communication, the increased radio capabilities. So we'll add that to both grant applications. So if one is denied, maybe it'll be approved in the other. So that's what we were looking to do. So if you want to step through these real quickly, the first project is to establish panic buttons in the schools, primarily in the office. There will be, as well, I believe, in the increased radio capabilities, a panic button on the radios that are carried around by different personnel when they're outside the buildings or whatever. That panic button would be tied directly into monitor controls, which is monitoring fully and will dispatch any emergency services once that button is pressed. The increased radio capabilities will allow for an individual frequency at each of the schools so that when the panic button is pressed, it goes in and they'll know immediately. Question?
Just a quick question, and just forgive me, because I couldn't make it last night because of the timing, but I thought we weren't going to discuss the details of the security at a public meeting.
We did decide that these are generic.
Okay, so then it's okay.
And not specifically where anything is located or how it's gonna work, it's just, these are generic topics.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I'm trying to keep it generic, so if I start to get into too much detail, someone whack me on the back of the head, all right?
That would be Kim.
No, we're going to stay 6 feet apart, so we might throw things.
I thought people would line up to do that. Another suggestion by the SRO was to do some hallway painting, which is like a striping or something, so that when emergency people show up, if you say it's, the emergency's in the red hallway, they have an easier way of finding their way to the red hallway, the blue hallway, the green hallway, so that they can get there quicker without stopping and asking directions. Window films would be placed on additional windows. It's not ballistic, but but we will have additional film that prevents people from seeing in and preventing glass from shattering easily. Door reprogramming, enhanced buzz stations in all schools, and doorway reprogramming in all schools, again, to enhance the security of the systems that are in place. Total cost is $120,000. We have roughly $194,000 currently approved for security improvements, and the recommendation of the utilization committee is to authorize this $120,000 expenditure against that budget that's already exists. There was discussion on the balance, whether to revert it directly back into the general fund or to still hold it for additional security items if they come up. At this time, because we had discussions about other items such as fencing or security for some of the playgrounds to prevent cars from being able to enter, we've decided that we're going to hold the $70,000+ in reserve in that account pending further. So, and then I already discussed the communication grant of $275,000. So At this point, why don't we take it with two motions? I think we would want to see the first motion be to approve the expenditure of the $120,609 for the improvements that are here. So we'd need a motion for that. I'm willing to make the motion. Do we have oh, Bob, sorry.
No, that's fine, but I think we also have to reallocate the, 194 was set for a particular project. Kim, was that correct?
I have a motion
Oh,
here.
we have the actual motion. Okay. So I'd like to make a motion to reappropriate security funds as presented to the Utilization Committee in executive session on 5/25/2021 and to apply for the school's security and communications grants.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Is there any other discussion on this? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Your second motion?
No, they were both there. The second
no.
motion was gonna do, I thought we would split it communications separately in case people
they're
wanted to
both
approve one and
together.
not the other.
Okay.
But we are good. So thank you, everybody, for that. And Kim, thank you for putting this together and all the work that you and the rest of the team did.
Ken and
Yeah.
Mark and everybody else too.
I missed the meeting.
Yeah, I know, because last night I got off the call and the first thing I said is I didn't thank Mark, Jimmy, Sue, Kim. I'm like, so thank you.
Thank you very much. The next item is communications. Couple things. We do have a email from Henry Bugay and Nick Viola about getting together about advertising on fencing and stuff around the sports field, but kind of an annual request, so we probably need to talk about that. Doug, when you get a chance. Also, I really want to thank, I don't know who got a chance to go to the concert on Friday night, but it was incredible. It was kind of like a Hallmark movie where
Mhm.
it was miraculously Tim is back up on stage and we're having no masks on. It was like
It was awesome.
you couldn't have scripted anything any better in the concert, and the kids were great, and Aaron and Tim did a wonderful job, and we had a beautiful night. And there was lots of people. I know that Catherine was in it. Any other kids were in it? But Catherine Taylor and your granddaughter?
Pardon?
Any of your grandkids in it?
My granddaughter,
No.
yes, in the band.
No, great. It was a wonderful concert. You don't have anybody in that?
I did, but she was quarantined.
Oh, she was.
But yes, I did see some of it, but she wasn't able to go, so
Oh.
she was heartbroken.
Oh, yeah.
Just
Oh, they
saw
did
something
such
in
a
our house
wonderful
right
job.
now.
It was really a beautiful night.
It was.
And we thank them for really doing a great job of pulling that together. And the kids worked very hard to make that a nice concert too. Also, in sporting, I know that we had shoreline track meet today. I don't know how we did, but
Pretty well when I left.
yeah. And also the girls softball team lost in the semifinals last night, 1-0 to North Branford. And the boys baseball team won last night, and they're playing at Palmer Field tomorrow night at 7. So for the final shoreline championship. So anybody you want to go there should. Palmer Field always had great hot dogs. I remember that. My kids go in there forever, but it's really a fun place to watch a baseball game. All right, Doug, your report.
Thank you. I'm going to try to be on the brief side tonight because next time I'm going to ask for some additional time to share my report for my first roughly 6 months on the job, and even going back a little bit, kind of my impressions, reflections, and even talking about where we may go forward. And I want to take my time with that, and I want you all to be able to hear that, and maybe anyone in the community who's interested would hope, if they don't come in person, might even watch us on the live stream. But let me just make a few remarks. I want to echo what Bob said about Friday night, and I guess, of course, I don't have the history here that all of you do, but from a completely selfish standpoint, our adult daughters had just gotten back from college the week previously, and so the two of them, one of my daughter's boyfriend and my wife and I, were all able to attend the concerts. And with the no mask thing, and of course the weather was perfect, and the kids did a great job, and Tim and Aaron, everyone that was involved in that, I would say I kind of felt like now I'm here and this is home, and not that it didn't feel that way before, but it was my first kind of public event. And normally you'd think in non-COVID times, which we could say for anything, lots of those things may have happened into the late fall, even before I started and early on. So I appreciated being there and being able to not just attend the concert, but actually have some face-to-face conversations with people legally. And feeling safe about it. So I also want to give Ken a shout out just for getting this room together and getting this new sound system together. It's kind of neat that we don't all have to have microphones in front of us or be sharing them or passing them. If you've ever had to do that before, it's not fun, and it doesn't always equate to the best sound quality for our audience. And hopefully we will get used to this. The next few things I'm going to tell you, I have already kind of told you through emails, I think, or public messaging, but I think it bears repeating some of these, and also for our public, the more times they can hear it, the better. So the first is, even though it may seem like overkill, we are wearing face coverings, masks this evening, because that is what the executive order from the state is requiring in school buildings. So every one of us here may be fully vaccinated. I'm not going to ask, and you don't have to tell me, but so even though we may be safe to go in Walmart and other places, this is what we're going to have to do, at least until the end of the school year. And that also is what we're doing for our in-school operations. And I really want to thank our teachers and our administrators and all of our staff and all of our families, and especially our young learners who have been troopers since last fall. And they probably don't feel like wearing these any more than we do, but we're going to get to the end of the school year doing this. And I've not heard one person push back on that or complain. And so I just think it's a testament to everyone. What happens after June 17th, I can't speak to, but that is because the state has not given us that guidance at this point. We're all hoping to have things a little bit more relaxed. And again, I'll repeat my core message. I just hope all the people that can get vaccinated as adults will choose to do that. And those that have children that are eligible will choose to get them vaccinated. Obviously, that's not a hard sell, it's an ask, because we feel like the more of us that get vaccinated, the quicker we can shed these masks and kind of get back to normal. We'll keep you up to date on that. Another update, which again is kind of a repeat, but Bob Yamartimo had asked me to check with our attorneys again. And so I once again asked the question about going into next school year, do our committee meetings need to meet in person, or can they be held electronically? The opinion of the attorneys remains at this moment that unless there is a change coming out of the General Assembly, which he says there could be, that the rules that govern board-appointed committee meetings, like the ones that we operate, do fall under the same statutes that govern full board meetings. And so what he suggested is that we not make any hard and fast plans one way or the other, because coming off the pandemic, maybe these things will change. So again, I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer here and tell us that we can't do that, but that is the latest legal guidance that we've received. And Peter assured me that we are not the only district asking that question and very interested in the outcome, because I know a number of you have pretty strong feelings about that. I will say he did add that just like in an in-person Board of Ed meeting, you could individually, as long as a quorum was present of the committee or of the full board, have someone call in and participate. As long as the committee approves that, we have policy that supports that. That would be fine, but the meeting itself, needs to be in person as it stands right now. And the last thing I'll mention, I've mentioned last meeting, but now there's a little bit more to that, is, as you know, we are in the process of searching for a new principal to replace Brian. And so that position was posted as of the end of last week, and I know that not too many meetings ago, we brought our folks from Thought Exchange and talked about that platform and what it might do for us regarding the John Lyman issue. And even though we're not using them front and center in that, we did launch a Thought Exchange on Friday, I believe. Yes, it was on Friday, and it closes this Friday. And I want to let you know that lots of people have given input, which is great. The group that I haven't seen giving a lot of input at this point are the actual learners at the high school. I think there were like 3 or 4 that I had seen when I checked this morning, and that's okay. But I just hope if they want to have some input, that they would give some input, because I think they're a really important group to be involved in that. And I will once again say that for all of you and anybody that may be watching, if you know of any candidates that you think would be a good fit for the district and for the high school, if you would please reach out to them and encourage them to apply. Again, the applications are open, and Kevin and Ashley have done a good job of getting it out there on a lot of different platforms, including one national platform, and we have had a few out-of-state applicants already, which I think is good. But we'd like to get more applicants, and we want to get as strong and deep of a pool as we can, so that we feel like we're ready to move forward with the actual interview hiring process. And again, I can't predict when that will be, even though it technically closes. Can you remind me, Kevin?
June 15th.
Yeah, so June 15th it closes. If we don't have a deep enough pool at that point, we may have to extend that and try to get some more into that. So that is really it for this evening, unless anyone has any questions about anything that I presented. Oh, can I add one more thing?
Yeah.
It's nice to see some of you in person for the first time. It is strange for me to be saying that almost 6 months into the job. I feel like I know all of you. After the interview process, I feel like I know some of you better than members of my own family, but Zoom is different. And just like we're anxious to get back to normal in-person in school, I'm glad that we're here, even though it's kind of a pain to be in masks. So thank you.
I think the most important thing is that when Doug stands up, you'll see that he's about 6'4", so I think, which was hard to tell in Zoom. So, that's probably the first reaction that everybody sees, is like, whoa. So anyway,
And technically, this is the first meeting we can see you, because the last one was at the high school in the auditorium, and it wasn't very bright in there. It was really hard to see. That's why I couldn't remember. So I said, oh, that's what you look like.
Thanks, Doug. The next is public comment. We have a couple of long-standing publics out there. Any comments, either one? Want to introduce yourself, because these two come to lots of our meetings, maybe you just say who you are, so Doug can know who you are, and check, maybe when the mask is off, you can recognize your face.
Joe Hansen.
Kind of recognize you from Zoom.
Yeah.
You don't have your mask on then.
No, not multitasking it right now. So.
I'm Jen Casillo.
They're frequent attendees at
Thank
all
you.
the board
Thank you for
meetings.
being here.
All right, if there are no other public comment, we have to go into executive session to go over Doug's evaluation. Do we plan to do that in the back room, or let everybody leave?
Do you want us to just cut everything and pack up, or are you coming back afterward? That needs to be brought down.
We won't need to come back afterward then.
We can just break down the 3 cables down, so we can shut off the computer and leave and stay where you are.
That's probably just as good. And
I do think